Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. Got a great show lined up. Got a special guest here. But first, our weather is always brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin Road and Highway 77. High today, 83 and low 73. But the big deal, I know everybody's talking about it, all that work today, is this weekend. The low is going to get, we're looking at 50 right now. I just checked a while ago. They're talking about 53 degrees low this weekend here on the coast. So you can imagine how excited everyone is going to be, and it's going to be, you know, that will be the first official cool weather we've had. Our water temperature remains at 81 degrees, and that's really good there. I'm looking forward to getting into the 70s maybe next week. All right, take a look at our river readings. We talked about how low the Apalachicola is getting. This morning it's reading a 0.9, and it's going to get around 0 by Friday and Saturday. It may start coming up Saturday, probably open up the gate Saturday, and then Saturday afternoon it'll start coming back up. Our tide chart, okay, the Choctawhatchee, let's look at the Choctawhatchee. The Choctawhatchee is just real steady. It's reading a 2.9 this morning, and it's going to stay that way. It may start dropping out some Friday night, early Saturday morning, but it'll be a small drop. Probably won't even notice it if you're up there fishing for them. But heard some good reports coming off the Choctawhatchee River from some good fly fishermen. They're doing real well up there. All right, now let's take a look at our tide chart. Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery, right there on your screen. Got a high tide at 3:33 this morning and a low tide at 2:30 this afternoon. Got a good, full, strong range, and this weekend is going to be some really good tides. If you're fishing into those tournaments or doing any kind of bait fishing this weekend, it's going to be in good shape. Our marine forecast, south-southeast at about 5 to 10. So we're in good shape there, and we've got 1 or 2 more days of humid weather, then it's going to really cool off some. All right, let's take our break. We'll be back with our guest. Welcome back, and look who's back.
Hey, good to be back.
Tommy Barnes. He's back at Bill Kramer. You couldn't stay away, could you?
No, we couldn't stay away. You know, I tell you what, they sell Chevys all over the country, but they sell them for less here in Panama City at Bill Kramer.
We're going to get started on that a little bit, but I want to know what all you've been doing, what kind of fishing you've been doing, and what's been going on.
You know, I lived over there in Fairhope, Alabama for a little while. I'd taken a leave of absence and kind of get away from things here and take a little rest and breather and everything, and got over there. And they do a lot of speckled trout fishing over there around Mobile Bay and everything, red fishing. Work with some great guys over at another dealership there and in Daphne. And it's a lot of saltwater fishing over there, a lot more saltwater fishing over there than it was over here for me because I like to bass fish. You know, I spent raised on the rivers and everything, the lakes and sandhill ponds. So, but I'm glad to be back.
So you learned some secrets over there. How do those boys over there fish for their? How do they fish?
Well, they don't share as much. You know, I was a newcomer over there, so the new guy, you just have to pick up bits and pieces. They don't really tell you a lot over there, you know, because they're pretty secretive about that kind of stuff over around Mobile Bay.
But you had sand in your shoes and had to head back home.
Had to head back home, you know. I'm just glad to be back. I tell you what, there's no place like home. I think I heard that one time on a movie, you know, like The Wizard of Oz, but there's no place like home.
That's true. I know so many people feel that way. I get a kick every year. You know, when you're a senior in high school, you're ready to take off and get out of here, and then no, I'm never coming back, and those kind of things. I run into those same kind of kids every year. They're now grown up and got 2 little kids with them. I see them at different places. And
absolutely. You know, when I left high school, there was a few of us. We were going to go to Pascagoula, Mississippi. Yeah. We were going to get jobs and become welders. And
that would have been a good job.
It was a good job. Yeah, it was a good job. But you know, when we got over there, we spent the night over there and went to apply for the application, or turn in the application next morning there at the shipyard. And man, I've never been so homesick in all my life. So I turned around and come back home. I said, there's got to be some jobs here in Panama City. And there was, you know.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're talking about everybody's, you missed some good fishing because we've had some good, it's been a good summer.
That's what I've heard.
Overall, and some really good things going on. Now we're getting into our fall pattern. Now, I know you talk about bass fishing and all. We just finished up that Dosa tournament. I think Drew Benton won in.
Yeah, Drew, boy, pulled that thing out with a record catch, I think. Man,
Yeah,
that's great.
I think I had a picture of that, but also Drew is fishing the Pro Tour, but you mentioned a good point. He's coming home on occasion too.
Well, hey, everybody's going to come home for a $10,000 tournament or a $2,000 or $3,000 tournament. Especially when you got a weekend off, you run down here and pick up a little check. That's like getting a tip.
Well, we're about to hit that fall pattern of bass fishing and all. So what are some things you can look for in the fall, just in general? What?
Right now, top water is doing good from what I understand, and I've got some folks that tell me what they're doing, and I don't want to tell exactly where to go, but the river system, all the creeks and everything, right now, top water bait is really hot right now. Get those falling tides and everything. Crankbait is going to be a no-brainer between now and the first frost. Those fish are going to start ganging up the cooler it gets. I know it's starting to cool down. I think we're going to have some cool weekend this weekend, and of course always around rodeo time it gets a little cool, so I'm excited. I've got all my fishing poles ready and just boxes and boxes of bait and tackle. So I'm going to sort through and see what kind of hooks I need to replace, but I'm getting excited. I tell you what.
You brought up a good point. We always talk about that on the show. Get in a transition period between the spring and summer, or summer and fall, and we call that transition period.
Right.
We all sort of sit down and look at our tackle and sort of rearrange things.
Well, at this time of year, top water's good at any time of the year, really early morning or late in the afternoon. But there's some good fish being caught right now, and you want to have good hooks. It don't matter how many strikes you get if you can't keep them on, if you don't have good hooks on that bait. And a lot of the baits come with what I consider too small of hooks and really not sharp enough, out of the package. So there's a few baits. Bagley's putting some good hooks on stuff now, and that bang lure is one of my favorite. Any kind of top water bug. The mirror lure, of course, is always an old favorite for the saltwater guys out there in the bay. But make sure you got good, sharp hooks and strong, because you get an old 7, 8 pound, 6 pound bass on there, and you're trying to hoss him out of some tree stumps or out of backwater areas, little pockets. You got to have good, strong hooks and good line to get him out of there.
Hey, again, you got to have them sharp. They got to be sharp to get in there.
They got to cut through that mouth and get him hooked, Okay.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Sitting here with Tommy Barnes. He's back at Bill Kramer. Just always glad to have Tommy come on and talk about all kind of things. But
mainly fishing and hunting.
You can do that, can't you?
I can do that. I'm telling you.
Let's share some pictures. We're just getting in the last couple of days. We didn't get to do any yesterday, but check. This is right at Deer Point Dam, folks, and looking at some jacks caught by Austin Hill. But you mentioned, what's the best eating fish? That little mullet?
Yes, sir, buddy. I'll take that mullet over anything I see.
But that's them now. Catching that many jacks around the dam, that's got to be a lot of fun catching those things right there. They're strong, and you got that current and the water pulling on them. So that's a good job there, Austin Hill. All right, next picture. This is Steve Petty. Now Steve's the one standing, not the one up there in the air. Steve Petty over at Destin. Steve won first place in the Wahoo division on the McDonald tournament over there. The benefits went to the Ronald McDonald House. Good tournament they had over there. And Steve got that Wahoo, and they had a $10,000 first place for the king mackerel. And he said he had the winner up to the side of the boat and lost him. That was this past weekend. He said he had a big one on. I know that feeling. A lot of times those kings get right up there next to the boat and just have one last lunge and get rid of it. But good job, Steve. And Steve's going to fish in a tournament this weekend. I may try to fish with him in the local Treasure Island tournament. Now, speaking of tournaments this weekend, the first annual Spivey, Strong, Redfish, and Trout tournament. You'll be there in St. Andrews, the Sunjammers. I have a guest on tomorrow going to talk about it. Just want to go and show you the poster. It'll be lines in the water at 6 a.m. and weigh-ins at 3 a.m. And we'll have some folks on, like I say, tomorrow talking about it. All right. And another dove shoot over. We talked about. Got this picture in. It had dove shoots all over the place in the Panhandle. And this is a really good one here. This is Clay Patrick sent it, talking about this was a barrel burner. Bow all day, Bowden Harrell, and Tyler Turner. Good job. Ready to get those kids out there on that. All right. So so many things going on in the Panhandle.
Man, I tell you what, if them 3 boys right there kill all them dudes.
Well, I don't think they kill all of them, but you know how you like to, when you
pile them up.
Even on fishing trips, you go fishing and you especially on a head boat or something, you try to get all the fish in there like you called them, but it's not necessarily true. Listen, we're talking about you're back at Bill Kramer now, and
Bill Kramer.
I always ask you, is this a good time? When's the best time to buy a vehicle?
It's always a good time to buy a truck at Bill Kramer, but especially right here before hunting season. Hunting season's right around the corner. Bow season's fixing to come in. You need to get in those hard to get to places. You need that 4-wheel drive. If you don't need a truck, maybe you need to come by and see our service department. Get it serviced. Get the 4-wheel drive checked out. Get the transfer case oil changed, whatever. But come by and see us, and we'll talk fishing and hunting, and you can share something with us, and maybe we'll have a little something to share with you. But if you're looking for a 4-wheel drive, we've got one of the biggest selections of trucks. We've got over between 500 and 600 vehicles on the ground. Yeah. It's unbelievable what we've got. We've got Silverados, we've got GMC Sierras, we've got, of course, all your SUVs, right from your Terrain, your Equinox, Traverse, Escalades, Tahoes, Suburbans. We've got them 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, the V6s and the V8s. We've got those that are getting 38 miles to the gallon, and we've got those that are getting 19 miles to the gallon. So it just depends on, day before yesterday, the coach from Gulf Coast came by, the women's coach, and she came by, was looking for a Tahoe because they're quail hunting up in Alabama, and they said we got to have a 4-wheel drive. So I said,
quail hunter?
Yeah, her and her husband, and
get up with them.
Yeah, they're good folks out there. And of course, they've always, she's a great coach because she's always got them Lady Commodore son. They tough.
Yeah.
And
I didn't realize she was a quail hunter.
Yes, her and her husband. And I think.
Well, the area she grew up in over there around that Ponce de Leon area and all that was some good quail hunting and all over
wow. There. Well, they like I said, they got the setters and bird dogs, and so hey, I like talking that. I don't know if I could hit one of them quail if he jumped up in front of me, scare me to death.
They're fun, man. That's fun shooting that. Talking about I just traded. I heard you coming back to town, so I tried to trade before you got back.
That's right. Well,
I didn't really. I hate I miss you because I would have. I know you'd have given me a better deal.
Well, I'd have done my best for you.
But what I want to bring up, I'd gone down there. Every now and then, I like to, go by and check on folks, and especially my sponsors. They've been so good to me. I was down there, and I'd planned on trading in December. That was my little financial plan, because like I said I could trade in December. I was getting a lot of miles on it. If I had a transmission going out in one of the vehicles, it's time to trade.
Oh yeah.
Y'all know.
Anytime you start.
So I'd gone down there. I told them to be looking out for. I wanted, what truck I wanted and everything, and I was down there, and it's like it was just meant to be. A truck had just been traded in.
Right.
A GMC big old Ford had just been traded in. Had 19,000 miles on it. In fact, the wax, the guys were in the back there putting wax on it. The wax was, Jack went back there and drove it up there.
Wow.
Well, Daniel did, and still had the wax on the hood. They were trying to get it shined up. And the guy who traded it in, I knew him. I taught his son, and I knew him, and so I knew it had been well cared for. I felt, it just drove it around. That made me take it home with me. That's always,
That's the deal right there.
That's a tricky move right there.
Absolutely, man.
But I did want to do that. I just got the feel of it and everything. When it feels right.
Oh yeah, that's right. And that's a good looking truck.
Yeah, and I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased with it.
It's got the grill brush guard on it and everything. Yeah. I mean, it's. What did you have to do? Did you put the grill guard on?
I did that. I've always I always get a guy to do that.
That's
for
always
me.
Nice when you're going through the woods and everything. But you know what? Talking about those Z71s, I just traded in a Z71 in 05. Listen to this, 05 with like 55,000 miles on it.
Oh my goodness!
And that's the way I got my Tahoe. I sit there and watch these trade-ins come in every day, and I'm not going to say that it's a little old lady that drove it to church on Sunday. That's just not. I'm going to tell you the truth about it, because one thing about the car business is is, Mr. Kramer, we don't have to lie. We don't have to over-exaggerate anything, because these are good trucks. We put warranties on these trucks. We can sell warranties on everything down there. A lot of them are certified, pre-owned, and that's the best way to buy a used vehicle. If you're going to buy a used vehicle, buy pre-owned certified. You get a warranty. Mr. Kramer's giving a 1-year free oil change with everything. General Motors is giving you 2 years, so you get 3 years worth of free oil changes and service like that. And so you just can't go wrong with a pre-owned certified vehicle from Bill Kramer Chevrolet.
Well, and the thing about it, there are deals out there, and there are vehicles like that have those low miles on them.
Absolutely.
And that's really what swung me. That was below 20,000 miles, and it was in immaculate condition.
This is an extended cab, and I'll tell you just a second, because I know we're in a hurry. Extended cab, pewter in color, 4-wheel drive Z71. The interior looks like a brand new one. That looks like the truck's been kept in the garage with about 56,000 miles on it. And I think you can buy that truck for $15,900, and it's ready to go to the woods and go to hunting.
Yeah.
Z71 suspension, everything.
You know, I think one of the things we always have done, we admired vehicles, you know, and really because they're such a fabric of our society. And I do the Mosley Homecoming Parade. I've always done it since the 70s and all, and I enjoy doing it, but I always sort of pick out the best looking vehicle, you know, in the parade, because, you know, y'all loan us cars, and then we get some antique cars in. I want to really quick tell you about this year's the vehicle that I awarded the Parade Directors Award for Best Vehicle in the Parade. Goes to Stuart Corbin. It was a 1961 Jeep. 1961 Jeep. Listen, folks, it had been in the Corbin family since 1961, had 14,000 miles on it. And he drove his daughter, who was a contestant in that 1961 Jeep. Man, I'm talking about low miles.
Absolutely.
You know? And then there was a 66 Chevelle Malibu and all kind of stuff like that, and then all those new ones. So anyway, vehicles are just, you know, you want to feel comfortable, and you want to let them serve your purpose. I'm an outdoorsman. I got to have a truck.
Absolutely.
And that's what.
You know, we got folks that just breathe and eat, sleep, and breathe Toyotas. We got one of the biggest selection of used Toyotas. People have been trading those things in. We got the pre-runners, we got the Tundras. If you're looking for a Toyota, we've got them on the used car side. That's where I'm at. I'm in the used car building with Jack and Daniel Raphael and Augie and you know, Jerry and Neil but we've got a great selection. So come down there and see us, because if you're looking for a Toyota, if you're looking for a Chevrolet, if you're looking for a Ford, I had I'm trying to think of his name, Mr. Mercer called me from Marietta last night, and he said, I see you've got a Ford on your lot. And I said, yes, sir, we've got it. We've got 2 people waiting on it right now. If they don't take it, and I said, I'll leave here I was going to get off at like 6:30. I said, I'll leave here with that truck and drive it to Marietta, you know, and bring it to you. He said, we're going to write you a check for it. I said, well, let me make sure they're not going to sell it. Well, they sold it. I mean, they sold it. So,
all right, we're going to have to take a break. We'll be right back. Now, welcome back. Here with Tommy Barnes from Bill Kramer Chevrolet. He's back in the saddle again. It's glad to have him. So, but first, let's look at our fish and game forecast today, brought to us by Mark Coward of Edgewater Beach Realty. Mark's number is 832-6000. Our time this morning, 3:27 to 5:27. But this evening, we're looking at 3:54 to 5:54. A good time right there. And tomorrow's time will be fairly close. So you're looking at some good late afternoon times. And we'll talk about that time in the fishing.
That's right.
Late afternoon and all, and early morning.
Especially with these little overcast skies we've had, you know, the last few days we've had some overcast skies or cloud, and I don't know what it's going to be this weekend, but anytime you can get cloud cover, topwater bait, buzz bait, whoo, boy, they'll just tear it up.
Yeah, we caught some redfish this week with a bit of cloud cover off our dock.
Wow.
I was going to talk about our tip of the day, and I always ask my guests who are outdoors and fishermen, I always ask them their tip of the day, and we were talking about it during the commercial break there. And you brought up a really good point. These fishing lures are expensive.
Very expensive.
When you got a tackle box full of them. So.
Yeah. You know, you're paying the average bait $7 to $10 a bait now, you know, and some of them are 15 and 20. Those mirror colored imaging on crankbaits. And the last thing you want to do is throw that thing out in the river and get it hung on a limb down there and have to break it off. So get you a good lure retriever. get you a good lure retriever. Either one that goes on the line with a string and you can send it down the line and it's just a heavy weight, it'll knock that thing loose, or like an easy glide that you can clip on your line and run it down there a 10, 12 foot pole. Because most of your crankbaits are going to run, you know, 6 to 8, 10 foot deep. You can get that crankbait back is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's a small investment that'll save you a lot of money. Get you a good lure retriever. Bass Pro Shop's got them. Walmart's got them. I know Blue Water, one of your sponsors, probably have got them down there at St. Joe's. So stop by and see somebody at one of your local tackle shops today and ask them for a good lure retriever. It'll save you a lot of money.
Good point there. I became one myself this past weekend. My grandson casting off the dock and had a gold spoon stuck in an oyster shell.
Oh, my goodness.
But it was like knee deep, so I waded out there and got it. But you don't always have that luxury to be able to
especially when that's the last one you got and they've been biting it.
Well, and they had been biting that one, so we wanted to save that one. But that's always it's so important to try to save those lures. Sometimes you're not going to be able to.
That's right.
But if you can, that's a great thing to have.
That's why you always buy 2 of them.
That's what I tell my wife.
Buy 2 of them at the tackle store.
All right, we got about a minute or 2 left now. What's your October's here? What's your fishing plans for this month?
Top water. When I get to go, I'm gonna go top water because I just like to see that old big bass, or you know, I like to see the speckled trout blow up on top water.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I throw a grub, but I like to see them blow up on the top water, either bangalore, and a lot of folks don't fish bangalore out there in the bay, but I do.
Don't tell them.
I love it.
That is a good secret. You know, we talk about it over and over again where you switch like a redfish, you know, it's just the same as a bass. A lot of times there's mannerism and habit, so why wouldn't you fish for the same thing?
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, you're going to be at Bill Kramer. What's your hours? When are you going to be there?
I'm going to be there from 8:30 till 7 tonight, and I've been there from bell to bell, just about since I've been back, because you know that's getting back in the saddle, letting everybody know you're there, and I know we've got a lot of folks down there on Cape Sandblast and St. Joe that needs to trade them trucks that we sold you 2 and 3 years ago. Get up and get in that new one.
That's right. Yeah, trying to get a new one. And listen, you folks, they're a good sponsor, and Tom's a good man, and so get a chance to run down there and visit with them. And y'all can talk fishing too.
We talk fishing all day long.
I was down the other day, and everybody in there talking fishing.
That's right.
Everybody
likes fishing. Jonathan Simmons, I think he was down there early part of the week, Howard's Creek brim fishing.
Oh, he's catching a bunch of them at Howard's Creek.
Catching the fire.
I try to get him to come on the show, but
we'll get some pictures for next time.
Yeah, we'll do that. Well, Tommy, thank you, buddy.
Thank you for having me on.
And welcome back.
Hey, I'm glad to be back.
All right, man. Thank y'all so much for watching Panhandle Outdoors. We appreciate your viewership, and you do something good for someone else today, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.